How you guys doing tonight? This is Felonious Bitcoin. I'm coming at you guys with a video, kind of like an emergency kind of update, given the circumstances surrounding the coronavirus, the financial system, the government, and everything else. The first thing I want to say is about the government. They released this coronavirus at the perfect time to put a stop to the riots happening in China against their government, right? Perfect timing. And then we hear excuses. Basically, they were dragging their feet up until the point where it couldn't be controlled, right? And then they're like, oh, it's a problem now. So the one thing that people need to understand that are watching this video about governments is that no matter what government we're talking about and we're looking at, they're all going after the same thing: more control, more taxes, more slaves, and domination over everything. And you can see it. You know what I mean? Go back 20 or 30 years and look at the amount of laws that we had then to the amount of laws that we have now. There's nothing compared to the ones that we have today. Basically, it's a systematic attack against humanity is what the government is. It happens in stages and it always plays out the same exact way. The economy starts crashing, then we have an excuse for more government control. It's really convenient for these people to do this because they have all the money. So what do? They have mainstream media tell people what they want people to know. Even if that's not realistic, you know what I mean? Even if it's lies, which is what the government spreads 99.999% of the time, is just blatant lies. All you hear from your president is, we're going to make changes, we're going to lower taxes. It just keeps getting worse over time. So why do people advocate for that? Want to know why? Because you've been brainwashed into thinking that your government has your best interests. But I can assure you, it's the complete opposite. It always has been like that, and it always will be like that. You will never see a government stand up for its people. Not one time in history has that ever happened. You see, governments are notorious for war, killing people, coming up with weapons of mass destruction, and implementing them in ways that make it more beneficial to them, whether it be through getting more oil from other countries, or whether it be to impose some sort of democracy system within that nation. So paying attention can yield you great results if you're on the other side of this. So as far as governments go, yes, it is my firm belief that the coronavirus is a scapegoat for the governments to impose martial law and to have complete control over us and what we do, where we can go, who we can and can't talk to. And eventually it's going to come to a time where they kill millions of people if the coronavirus doesn't do that for them. What I don't understand about the TSA, the government agency that's supposed to keep flights safe, is they managed to allow all these people to just take off from China and land in the United States. No problem. No screening. Oh, you feel okay? Okay, see you later. That's it. That's the screening. So all of this has been planned on purpose. It's kind of obvious at this point, and I've been saying it for the longest time, and it's starting to come true right before your eyes. And the Federal Reserve has been lying to everybody, telling us we're in a booming economy. People, meanwhile, are working 3 or 4 jobs, but the economy's great. The only reason that the economy is great in that aspect is because people can't afford to pay their rent with just one job. So they need multiple jobs, multiple incomes in order to provide for that. Whether it be for food, which you'll see cost of that going up pretty soon. Water, the cost of that's going to go up pretty soon. And basic necessities that you won't be able to get access to. So this is why a lot of people, and myself included, have been saying to prepare, because it's not a bad thing, And the most important thing isn't just preparing. It's about polishing off your skills. Do you have a skill set? What do you do that is beneficial to humanity? Those are questions that you should be asking yourself, because without skills like that, you become a useless entity to everything. You need to be able to produce something that gives back more than what people take. You know what I mean? When people put into a system more than they take from it, that's when you have a thriving economy where people have no debt, and you don't owe anybody anything. So a stable economy, that is what we're aiming for, a stable, flat economy that, for the amount of energy, gold and silver are precious metals, right? Everyone can agree to that. They have value, sure. But the most important thing is not the metal itself. It is the amount of energy that you put in to get this from it. Yeah, like the amount of energy that you put into something to get this from it. The skills that you have, the work that you do, the things that you produce. The end goal is to get this. But along the way, you also have other stopgaps that you want to take care of, such as making sure that your skills are the best that you can possibly make them, making you a valuable asset to humanity, to yourself, to your family, to the people around you. I believe that to be the most important asset above everything else is yourself. The things that you know, the knowledge that you possess is what makes you unique. So if you can put that information out there and teach people how to use it, then you will thrive as a human being. And that I'm certain of, because I've lived like that for some time now. Being able to use my skills to benefit, and not just myself, but my family, the people around me, sharing good information. You know what I mean? Don't lie. Don't tell people things that are not true. It seems like over time humanity has lost touch with our actual intensive purpose, and we've made a mess of everything. And I'm not just saying that for myself, because I am partially responsible, just as everybody else is there, just as everybody else is out there, to some degree, because we all contribute a certain amount of waste to the earth, whether that be through the products that we consume, or, whatever, pollution. But I think consumption is the number one thing that we need to eliminate. Now, that's why I say that, governments, their role should be to advocate for people to work together, to be more self-sufficient, be less reliant on them and their handouts, maybe teach people skills, or give them free courses with the tax money that they collect. Put that back into the community to make this a thriving economy. But instead, what do? They take all the money, they spend it on war, they spend it on weapons of mass destruction, they spend it on ways, on stupid things for themselves. And meanwhile, we're all brainwashed to some degree to think that they have our best interests and that we should just do whatever they say because that's the right thing to do. The Jews, during World War II, it was illegal to house Jews. That was a decree. Can you believe that? So, just because we get taxed doesn't mean it's the right thing. It just means that that's what the lawmakers say we need to do. Now, what kind of society, what kind of example does that set to humanity when you set examples like that, like lying, stealing from people, extorting them legally in the legal sense, because, at the end of the day, it really comes down to them threatening you at the with the barrel of a gun or locking you in a cage. That's really what it comes down to. There has to be some sort of fear instilled amongst humanity for us to comply with their demands. Why? You know what I mean? If they're doing the right thing, then we would all agree to do this. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. You know, why is it always one person to blame? You know, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. Why is it always one face? You know, throughout history, it's always one person, one emperor, one president, one queen. Why does it need to be like that? We're a collective. We all work towards the same goal to be able to survive another day, right? So why don't we learn to do that shit together? Excuse my language. Why don't we learn to be self-sufficient, teach skills to each other? Like if I don't know something about woodworking, but I happen to know something about gardening, you know, why don't I trade my skill set with somebody that knows how to do something? That way I can learn more skills for myself to better myself, you know, to be a better asset to humanity, to the world, as opposed to let's just do everything for profit, to get as much as we can from other people, to sucker them in, and to get whatever we want from them. That's no system. And if it is, it's not going to last very long. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, as far as like the government and their plans, I think their main goal here, and not in the not too distant future, they're going to impose martial law. To have control over us, restrict our movement. We'll have to use the Real ID soon, starting in October, where they basically have biometrics cameras that can, you know, trace where you are location-wise. And I think that is a very scary and pervasive thing for people to advocate for. Not just for each individual, but as a whole. You know what I mean? Why is it that every time something bad happens, the government is never responsible? And yet shit has just gotten worse and worse and worse. And the government sits there and blames everybody else, but pointing the finger at themselves. You know, I find that saddening and sickening. And it's disgraceful, you know, to say that that's humanity. It really is. It's disgraceful because they're setting the example for people to be corrupt. They're setting the example for people to try to get one over on the next person. They are doing these things to further their own control and their own agenda. For what? For what? What kind of life is anybody going to live if we live under constant dictatorship or rules that tell us we can't do this, we can't do that? But you know, meanwhile, the people writing these rules go and do exactly the opposite of what they tell us to do. So it's a hypocritical system in every sense of the word. So that is something that I think that people need to move away from because it seems that, to me, over time, it just makes things that much worse. So getting, you know, we're on the wrong foot right now, so why don't we just switch gears and fall on our asses right now, you know, accept the facts that humanity is not working together. We have sanctions being put on all these other countries because they don't want to use the US dollar. So why, you know, and that's the thing I don't understand too, is that, you know, every government in history has been known for killing millions of people, and then people sit there and cheerlead the United States government, the military being over in other countries, like it's our business to be there. No, it's not, because just like it's not China's business to have their people patrolling our streets here. You know, they have problems in their country. We have problems in our country. We need to take care of our problems and don't worry about them. You know what I mean? The government, what they should be doing is working hand in hand to come up with solutions instead of fighting over the stupidest of reasons, you know, instead of being complacent in the things that they're doing. You know, they're very good at writing laws and taking your tax dollars. Let me assure you, they are quick like that to have a new law written that takes some of your rights away or more of your money away. They are the quickest to do that, but the slowest to give anything back. So that sets the example right there. It's not right, and it needs to stop. It has been happening throughout history since the beginnings of civilization, and it needs to come to an end. I mean, You would think that humanity would learn after all this time that we should be working together. But instead, they've just divided everybody and trying to conquer them. The military tactics. Why do we spend so much money on the military when in the end it's just going to be used against us? So it's ironic, isn't it? Because we pay tax dollars to these people that are supposedly have our best interests. And the funniest thing is, there's all these people out there saying, yeah, Trump, no, yeah, Hillary. Who cares? They're all on the same side. You know what I mean? They want more money from you. They want more of your rights, and they want to take more away from you. So you cheerleading for any of these people is the wrong approach. You know what I mean? You can't count on one person to make a difference for everybody else. It's not realistic. Think about it. How many people can you provide for? Answer me that. Can you provide for yourself? Half the people I know can't do that. They have some sort of government help, EBT or, cards like that, some sort of credit card debt. And you're going to sit there and tell me that a president, one person, that face is going to fix all these problems that 330 million other people have? No. Okay, you need to wake up. And that's all I have to say about that. But regarding the governmental structure, the way it exists, it's not right, and it needs to change. The rules that they make, they're not common sense rules. It's not, all these regulations that they come out with don't make sense, especially when it is designed to keep the people in power, to have more power over people that have less power, meaning money. Right? So they kind of monopolize the system to their advantage. So that's what I mean. Stop playing the game. Don't believe the shit that they say, because they've always lied to us. Every government has lied to us. And what is the one thing that every empire in history has in common? The Roman Empire, Nazi Empire, and the United States. They all like to sport an eagle. Here in the United States, it's a bald eagle. And what is the bald eagle? It's a bird of prey. It is a predator that preys on less advantaged animals for its own survival. And that's exactly what governments do. The irony is right there. Not just that, but the words govern and ment, derived from their Latin origins, means to control, steer a ship, or to rule, and then ment means of the mind. So there's your mind control right there. You got the media outlets coming at you every which way, telling you about what to worry about next. Kobe Bryant's death, coronavirus, this, that, the other thing. Don't pay any attention to the Federal Reserve injecting billions into the repo market. So no, we won't talk about that. That will go unnoticed. Because a new case will pop up, a new shooting will pop up somewhere. Something will happen that will take everybody's focus off of what's actually happening and put you in another spot. So it's all mind control tactics. It's all psychology. Psychological warfare is what these governments use on people. And why do you think the drug companies, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, all these different pharmaceutical companies are so successful? If they're doing the right thing, then they should have been. If the government was doing the right thing by the people, then all these corporations would have been shut down a long time ago. Okay, instead of allowing all this opioid epidemic to take place. And then not just that, but let's start the war on drugs. Let's have an endless war against drugs that we know we'll never win, but we'll do it anyways, just so that we can put more rules and restrictions on people, take more rights away, and destroy futures for people so that way they can never get it back. It sounds about right, doesn't it? Because let me tell you this, if you get a felony, any kind of felony, nonviolent, let's say you bounced a check for over $1,000, guess what? Your rights are taken away from you. You can't get guns ever again. So that's my problem with the system. And Felonious Bitcoin here. I hope you guys have an amazing night. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay informed with good information, spread good information, and be your own best asset. And have a great night, guys. Take care.